This is Andy Purrawal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to join by former WBC World Champion Charlie Edwards over Zoom. Charlie, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, thanks. Had a good weekend away watching my brother win and defending his title against a tough, tricky opponent and putting in a good, solid performance while doing it, and also assessing the arena which I'm going to be fighting in 4 weeks' time. So yeah, it's been a good weekend, and now I've been back training, sparring this week, and yeah, finishing touches. I'm nearly almost there. 3 weeks of training left, and then it's fight week.
Let's obviously touch on your brother first before coming on to yourself, as you mentioned him there. Another convincing unanimous decision victory for him. Just kind of reflect on his bout with Thomas Asomba this past weekend and break it down for me, Charlie.
I think he boxed very well. He was a bit shocked actually on the one of the scorecards because they had it closer than the other two, and we all generally thought, yeah, he could have lost 2 rounds, but it was a Sonny Edwards points win like he always does. He's never really in trouble. He's never in danger. The rounds he did lose, it was probably no fault bar himself that he just didn't do enough himself. And sometimes in them kind of fights, I believe that when you're winning the rounds and taking the rounds easy, and then all of a sudden a round's closer, the judge can swing the other way. So it was just one of them things. It was good for him to get back out there and against a tough opponent, because Asomba is tough, always dangerous. He come off the back of 2 very good wins, which give him probably one of his best stages of his career, in fact, coming off the back of them 2 wins. So it was always going to be a dangerous night's work at any given moment for Sonny, and he boxed a blinder, and yeah, we're all so proud of him in the gym.
Did you feel like when you was watching him, was there any kind of, did you feel that maybe he could have been influenced from the fact that he wasn't, we didn't have the crowd in attendance there? Do you feel like he could have benefited from having the crowd there at all?
I don't know. I think regarding me and Sonny, like, we go sparring, we have people in sparring all the time, so we're always in that hostile kind of atmosphere anyway. So we just kind of he definitely zoned in on fight night, and I don't think it affected him too well. He's fought around the world in front of no one against like Olympians, Kazakhs, and Russians. So it's kind of he felt that it was just the same as that, really. So yeah, I think being in there watching myself, you can see why some people walk out and they're daunted by it and they don't understand really what's going on, and it can affect their performance. But I believe, especially the amateur boys who have been around the world and fought in basically big arenas with about 20 people in, it's no different. You're there to do a job and you switch on.
This will be the new norm for however many months more to come yet. How much do you feel you'll kind of benefit from being able to see it yourself this past weekend for when you face obviously Carl Williams in a matter of a few weeks' time?
Definitely. It was great. I was buzzing. To be fair, when I walked in there, like, the protocol's all different. You've got to do different things. You've got to get your temperature checked. You've got to take the mask off, then change masks and all stuff like that. So I've kind of done that now, and it was good to do. And then the changing rooms are a bit different. It was all behind like curtains. You have your own little square box curtain. And to be fair, when I got there, I liked it. I liked the buzz of it. I liked the feel of it. It was as soon as I got in the changing room, I was like, you know what, I like this. It's quite good. Like, it's different. And I think I've been in professional boxing now 6 years. So to have something different and a different atmosphere and something like that, I think it makes it fresh again. It's a different kind of challenge. It's a mental challenge as well as a physical challenge, as well as everything. So it's exciting times. I'm really looking forward to fighting in the arena. BT Sport, Frank Warren, and the studio is a great little venue. And I wouldn't be surprised, even when shows do get back up, instead of taking small hall shows to like York Hall and that, I should think they would carry on doing a few there in the future as well.
Just a final thing on Sonny, Charlie, before we do come on to yourself a bit more. With that victory on Saturday night, how do you think it kind of sets up the rest of the year for him? What do you think he should be looking to strive to achieve?
I don't know. I don't know what's out there for him. I don't know whether he'll be able to get a world title shot. Who knows with his travel ban and situation. I think he'll want to defend his British again because he wants to try and keep that outright. Although it's going to be very tough to get 3 more defences because it would stall his career. But maybe back end of the year, if Frank can pull it off, get him the IBF world title shot. And like Miflane Maruti's a great champion who hasn't been beat in 12 years, but styles make fights, and I think it's a great opportunity, especially with Miflane being he's 37 now, so every dog has its day, they say, and maybe that'll be Sonny's come through fight to win the world title.
Now, coming on to yourself a bit more now, obviously we mentioned Kyle Williams coming the 26th of September. Why Kyle? Why have you decided to face Kyle in your first fight at bantamweight, first fight under Frank Warren banner, your first fight in over a year as well since Martinez?
Yeah, I've been out the ring. It's been a year actually. Yesterday was my last fight. Although I've been in the gym, I've been developing. I've been letting my body be able to rest and recover and come back strong again instead of being a weight drained, like from fight to fight fighter. And it just come up. Like I got offered him. I was never going to call for anyone. I was never going to call for anyone, really. I just, being a world champion, I just got to sit back and wait, until the right fight comes up. And Frank Warren put that fight to me, and I accepted it straight away. Karl Williams is a great fighter, tough. He's been at bantamweight for a long time. I'm coming up from flyweight, so I'm actually coming up 2.8 kilograms to my new weight, and it just made perfect sense. I think styles make fights, and it's set for a great fight.
You'll obviously be a heavy favourite heading into it, given what you've achieved in the sport so far and what you still obviously want to achieve. But despite the fact you're coming up 2 weights, what should we expect from yourself in your first fight in what was a year yesterday?
Yeah, you're going to see a different Charlie Edwards. I'm not going to be a weight drain Charlie Edwards. My speed, my reactions, my movement, and my powers all going to be better. When you take off them last little percentages, it does drain you as a fighter. So on the night, expect a Charlie Edwards dominant win. And I'm looking forward to showcasing what I've been working on back in the gym.
What are you preparing for in Kyle? We know Kyle can be a rugged opponent. He's fought a few names that many people will know already in his career. What are you expecting, though?
I'm expecting him to be tough, game. He's going to be there till the end. He's going to keep coming, and he's going to switch. He's going to go southpaw and try and be awkward, but we're prepared for anything and everything. I've boxed at elite level, at world level now, and like I said, I'm prepared for everything and anything. And my reaction, my boxing ability, my intuition will take over the fight.
I've seen you saying, whether it be in interviews or on social media, that this fight's your first fight for bantamweight, a chance to kind of gauge an idea as to how you'll adjust to the weight before you can kind of see how far off world level you are.
Mm-hmm.
Provided you do produce the dominant display that you're saying to me now, come Saturday night, how many more fights do you feel you will have before you look at the world scene? Obviously, currently it's dominated by Noe Inoue, who holds most of the belts, most of the belts, sorry, but how long do you feel it will be until you look at the world scene and start thinking?
I'm really not sure, and I wouldn't disrespect anyone or be deluded to be shouting about that right now. At super flyweight, that's what I'm going to be campaigning at world level. Just with all this that's going on right now, I need to get a fight. I need to get back out there, and it makes perfect sense to test the waters at bantamweight. And when other things start opening up and things like that, then if the opportunity comes at super flyweight, then I'm straight back in the world mix. But right now, I'm not thinking too far ahead. I'm just focused on my next opponent, my next fight. And listen, I've always weighed heavier than bantamweight anyway. I come bantamweight's of 53.5 kilos. To come down to make flyweight, I was coming down from 61, 62 kilos at the beginning of camp. So I'm already above bantamweight. So I'm just going to know I don't have to take as much water out of me. I don't have to cut down as much, and I don't have to restrict myself for food. So in training, I'm actually performing 10 times the fighter I ever was at flyweight when I was a world champion. So yeah, this fight is just this fight only. I'm not really focusing on anything else now.
Just to touch on your training camp, obviously it's very different times as we know.
Mm.
How have you found it trying to get sparring partners in, trying to train for the past 5 or 6 months, particularly when you go back to the beginning of lockdown when nobody could travel and go to gyms and what have you?
To be fair, I'm an ultra professional. I always train all year round. I have to for myself. When the lockdown was on, I was still getting out doing my runs. I had a bag up in my garden. I was using that. I was getting little bits and bobs in. I was watching a lot more boxing, like taking in kind of analyzation and like thinking about different things I could do and add to my game. And then when the lockdown loosened, I was straight back in the gym and been working and developing. I haven't overtrained, but I've been ticking over in a way that when this fight come about, I only needed 5 weeks.
Moving forwards, Charlie, I just want to touch on something else. We know that you're getting ready to become a dad. You've got engaged recently as well. Sonny said to me that this is probably the happiest you've been in your life for as long as he's probably known you. Is that the right assessment? And if so, how much do you feel that will benefit you and your career moving forwards?
100%. Like I've always said, a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. And in my life, this is the happiest I've ever been. Like I feel settled. I feel like I've got a family unit, and everything now is for our little and coming along the way. Like, and my missus is great. Like she's actually a nutritionist by trade as well. So like all that has benefited me in camp, out of camp, and my lifestyle is so much better. Like when I was a world champion, my lifestyle was a bit all over the place. I was getting pulled from pillar to post. I was in and out of relationships, like all over the place, my head, and I weren't focused. This last year, I've been probably the most focused I've ever been throughout my career, and I haven't had no fight dates. So I'm really looking forward to what's going to come in this next year or 2 or 3. You know what I mean? There's going to be some big things that are going to happen. And I'm really looking forward to the 26th because it's been a long time coming. And I'm eager to get back in there. And I'm really looking forward to putting in a good performance and showing people, as well as proving to myself, which I already know, and to my missus and the family unit that I'm going all the way and I'm going to get another world title.
Just a couple more things I want to touch on, Charlie, before I leave you to enjoy the rest of your evening. Can't go and do. I don't think you can do an interview these days without Karl Yafai's name being mentioned anytime soon. But obviously, we saw a few weeks ago Frank Warren put an offer out to Eddie trying to get some cross-stable fights. Firstly, just touch on that, Charlie. What are your thoughts on Frank's offer?
I think everyone's known for years that fight. Show me the contract. Do you know what I mean? It's a fight I've always wanted. But like I said, I'm not disrespecting Carl Williams or nothing. So Carl's irrelevant to me right now. I've got to focus on my job in hand in 4 weeks' time. Can't overlook anyone in this game.
Do you think, obviously, now you're under a different promotional banner, it is less realistic, despite the fact Frank's obviously put the hand out to try and make some cross-stable fights, or do you think it could be easier?
I think it's more realistic. Eddie seems to want to get with Frank as well, and they want to have a conversation and try and get this across the line. So I think it's more realistic than ever, to be honest, because between the promoters, it's going to be an ego thing, and they're going to want to fight it off and see who's the best promoter kind of thing. So this time, I think it's more than close than ever. It's never been close ever because Cal's never wanted it, and the only thing who will let it down is probably him again. So it's just one of them. Time will tell. And I've got other things, and I've got another journey which I'm on right now to focus on.
And just a couple of thoughts I wanted to get your thoughts on, Charlie. Obviously, to touch back to this past weekend, Daniel Dubois was victorious.
Yeah.
Very comfortable victory for himself there with that knockout early on. Moving forwards, he's looking towards a Joyce fight. What do you make of Dubois, Joyce?
Oh, I think it is a really interesting fight, to be honest. I think I've known Joyce for years. I used to be on the squad with him. I also know Daniel Dubois. And I think Daniel Dubois early, because Joe can start slow sometimes, and when a big puncher comes on early, and he can be caught cold, because I've seen it happen before in like international tournaments. But then Joyce is very fit and he's just non-stop, and when he gets going, he can go all night, and then he takes some big punches and continues to carry on. So I think Dubois early, if he catches Joyce cold, but then I think Joyce can if he gets through that like early barrages and that, he could potentially outrun him later on because of the fitness.
One thing from myself, Charlie, just quickly ask you one. Obviously, about was it last weekend? Now we saw a stunning fifth round knockout victory from Whyte-Povetkin against Dillian Whyte. What did you make of that, Charlie?
I was gutted. I've got a lot of love for Dillian Whyte. Shared undercards to him, and he's always been really good to me. I was really gutted because he was getting into the fight. He was putting on a great performance and boxing very well. And to be honest, when he dropped him twice it was the fourth round, right? Yeah, fourth round. I was so shocked that he just normally he goes for the kill, and he didn't. He just kind of thought, oh, I'll just see this round out and carry on the fight. And I think that's because he was having so much success. He knew a big knockout would come later on and that he didn't have to force it. But then that's heavyweight boxing, right? You can't take anything for granted. And then the shot was sent from the heavens, and he was out before he touched the floor. But other than that, he was controlling the whole fight. So the rematch, maybe they need to get that on, and he'll be able to do it for all 12 rounds and stay away from that shot next time.
We'll leave that there, Charlie. We'll leave you now to enjoy the rest of your evening. Like I say, appreciate your time. Final word from yourself, though. What would you like to say to everyone who does tune in to watch our interview?
I just want to say thank you to everyone who always show me support, always sends me nice comments on all my interviews and on my social media platforms. It doesn't go unnoticed. And I'm really looking forward to getting back out on the 26th and tune in because it's going to be a great performance.
Charlie, appreciate your time. Obviously, best of luck with the remainder of your preparations and, of course, the fight. I'm sure I'll probably speak to you before then anyway, but thank you for your time tonight and thank you for speaking to Boxing.
Thank you. Nice one, mate. Thanks a lot.